confiscated. And so if I put my arms up, like right now I can go up and down, but if I take it from down here and try to throw up, it's
ready to go?
real hard for me. Because that's where I would use my so my deltoid can, I just got to retrain and hope that the inflammation and aggravation starts down.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the October 15th, 2019 meeting of the City of Lake Forest. And we are going to start with an invocation from Bishop Blake Wetstein, or Wetstein? Do I have that right? Did I pronounce that correctly? Perfect. With the Church of Jesus Christ of the Latter-day Saints. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Our dear Father in heaven, we are grateful for this evening, for the opportunity we have to be gathered together as those who are desirous of thy help, of thy guidance, as we consider matters for this community and for all those who reside here. We pray, dear Father, that thou wouldst please guide these leaders as they make decisions that impact this community, that they might be guided by the inspiration, and that they might be able to make decisions that are good for this community in both the short and long term. We pray for thy Spirit, and we do so in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And next we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance from Mayor Pro Tem Motazzi.
Please rise as we honor our flag. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you very much. Mr. City Attorney, anything to report on closed session?
There's no action to report tonight, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Next, a report from our wonderful El Toro High School student liaison, Samantha Napolitano. Not here? Not here. Okay. We'll get a report next time. It'll be twice as good. That brings us to the public comment portion of the agenda. If you'd like to participate, please fill out a blue speaker card, turn it into the city clerk, and your name will be called. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per person. When you are called to speak, you will see 3 lights at the podium, the first being green. When you have 30 seconds left, the light will turn yellow, and when your time has expired, the light will turn red. At that time, the public comment period has ended, and this council requests that you conclude your comments. Madam Clerk, does anybody wish to address the council?
Yes, we have several speaker cards. Matthew Polhammer, followed by Andrew O'Connor.
My name is Matt Polhammer, a resident of Lake Forest. I have some information for the city manager that's late breaking. As of about 4 o'clock, I was notified by victim witness at the Harbor Justice Center. And in the Orange County Sheriff Division case 1903-6282, there has been a decision by the district attorney that they recognize the error in the sentencing, and will be holding a hearing on October 25th to correct that. What this means is that Aaron Wesley Reams will not be back on the street around Thanksgiving, but will be incarcerated up until about New Year's, after which he'll have a criminal protective order that was issued by the court and 3 years of informal probation, so a change there of about a month. On a separate matter, following that incarceration, there was another transient at the Arbor named Lenny. I don't know his true name, but he goes by Lenny. He's generally known by Lenny. He's made criminal threats against me. That is Orange County Sheriff Department case number 191-8-7 and California Superior case number 30-2019-011-03265. That hearing is also coming up on the 29th, I believe, of October. And I don't know this person's name. I don't know his description. I've never met him. Don't know where he lives. Don't know his address. Some of those data points are needed for the service of process. I've asked for support for that from the law enforcement contractors for the city, and I have received no response. I would appreciate some assistance there.
Thank you very much.
Andrew O'Connor, followed by Dr. Robert Wheeler.
Andrew O'Connor, Foothill Ranch since 1990. I'm here to address the Mayor Pro Tem on information that was provided to me by city staff. The reason for you not being at the Taste of Lake Forest and the following Tuesday council meeting is that you're on a honeymoon.
No, I have yet to go on one, actually.
Okay, well, city staff is giving wrong information. I should just want to pass that on to you. Also, want to let the Mayor Pro Tem know that you're in violation of Title 52 of the United States Voting Election Code. It shall be unlawful for, number one, a foreign national directly or indirectly to make a contribution or donation of money or other thing of value in connection with a federal, state, or local election, and you did in fact receive, and you put it on your Form 460, that you did receive donations from foreign nationals. So this is in process, and you'll be getting a hearing.
Actually, it's not in process. The case was closed, and I have that file
We're
number.
talking about the FBI case and the.
Hold on. Excuse me, we're not going to get
There is no
dialogue.
FBI case.
There is.
Yes, there is. We'll show you the evidence.
Okay,
Okay, I'm just
sure.
letting you know you're.
From two criminals. That makes sense.
Whoa.
Please finish your
Very
comments.
classy, Nikki.
Next, I'd like to talk about to city engineer, Mr. Wheeler. Again, you know, Mr. Wheeler and myself live in the same neighborhood. I'm the original resident of the community, and I paid Melrose taxes for 28 years to have a safe street. And I'm talking about the raised median on eastbound Bake past Portola that I paid a lot of money in taxes to have done. And finally, there's good news to this. Taylor Abernathy, principal civil engineer of Lake Forest, says, Mr. O'Connor, it's been approved, the budget's good, we're starting October 7th. Well, I just drove by there again tonight, Mr. Wheeler, it's October 15th. I don't see any lines in the road, no survey markings. I was wondering if you could address this, why for 30 years we have a unsafe intersection there. If you'd like to comment on that. Mr. Wheeler?
We'll respond to the ones at the end. Thank you very much.
I wasn't waiting 30 years.
Dr. Robert Wheeler, followed by Josh Shepler.
My name is Robert Wheeler, and I'm a resident of Lake Forest. And I'm here tonight to inform the council about an illegal pot shop in our business complex in the city of Lake Forest. I'm an oral surgeon, and I have had a practice in Lake Forest for probably over 40 years. Along with my partners, we own an office condominium at 24400 Muirlands Boulevard. Dentists, except for except for Suite F, that is owned by Avila's restaurant, currently occupy all the other suites. Recently, one of our condominiums was sold, and the new owner opened an illegal marijuana shop. Since that time, we've had numerous complaints from the adjacent dentists, their staff members, and their patients, mainly due to the overpowering odor of marijuana. We have notified the Lake Forest Sheriff, the Lake Forest City Code Enforcement, and the pot shop refuses to allow them entry. We seem powerless to deal with this situation. Currently, the owner of the suite is being fined $500 a day, and I doubt this makes any difference to him, and I doubt whether the fines will ever be paid. The business was raided by the Department of Justice and the Orange County Sheriff's Department, and $850,000 worth of drugs were confiscated from that premises. And the next day, they were back in business. On some days, over 200 customers enter that business. And this creates a traffic, parking, and litter issues. Not to mention that there is a lot of marijuana being smoked in that building, and those customers are driving away. As a longtime business owner and resident of this city, I am hoping that by raising awareness of this issue, the city can help remove this illegal business before all the current professional tenants move out. At the same time, I believe that the city is trying to improve the look and create a more upscale business environment, and this is a very big move backwards. So thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much.
That is the location on Muirlands and Ridge Route.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We'll provide some comments on that at the end.
John Shepler, followed by Randy Johnson.
Good evening. My name is John Shepler. I'm the Laboratory Director of Sunstar Labs. I just wanted to come give you guys a quick update. 1 week ago, we lost a brand new environmental chemist that was working with us. She apparently wanted to work in a cannabis lab. I know you guys want to be pro-business, but we did not take action on September 17th. After hearing that news, she decided that she wanted to leave Sunstar and go work for a cannabis lab in Anaheim. So that's what she did. Apparently testing in Anaheim is allowed, but not so much here. I did spend the last 6 months training, developing, and basically served up this brand new college grad fully ready to go for analytical testing on a silver platter to another lab that's going to be a competitor of ours in Anaheim. Again, testing is allowed in Anaheim and Irvine. And in addition to that, I have 2 other very experienced chemists that are also thinking about moving to a cannabis lab that is other than ours, because we are currently not testing cannabis, as we are waiting patiently to hopefully keep this procedure moving along so we can get across the finish line and get to the point where we can test cannabis within the city of Lake Forest. On a side note, we like to make a personal note to our Mayor Pro Temp here. Congratulations on your personal life, and from all of us at Sunstar, very best of wishes. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Randy Johnson, followed by Loretta Hurin.
Good evening, Council. Randy Johnson, Lake Forest resident. I sent an ALF request to you folks back on October 2nd, and it was the City Council and also to the City Manager. Never received a response from you at all. That's really inexcusable, folks. One of the reasons you're there, one of the important reasons is to interact with the public. And I wouldn't insult you, on the ALF thing. I asked you a simple question, and you refused to get back to me. Don't we pay you enough? Anyway, the staff underling closed out the ticket on October 11th and stated that my request was shared with the City Council. Our residents who pay taxes in Lake Forest and take enough interest in city government to respectfully ask Council and our City Manager for an explanation on a city policy deserve an answer. We really do. It shouldn't be an option. It's a big part of your job and what we either elected or pay you for. Now, my concern has to do with this city meeting coming up at the sports park on August 29th. It's on the homeless meeting. The way the city has arranged this is that they're going to divide the public into groups at 10 different stations. So the idea is to go to this meeting and ask the expert one-on-one questions. Now, some people don't even have questions. They don't have any knowledge on this. Everybody's at a different education level here, okay? This should be a group exercise, like any other town hall meeting when you discuss a problem, where the people have an opportunity to talk with one another and air their grievances, concerns, and solutions in the open public with one another. This isn't a city council meeting where you control the dialogue. This is a public meeting on the outside where we come to discuss the issues. We have an opportunity to talk with one another, not to be segmented into little groups. because it's a time waster. These people are going to be asked the same questions 10 times. It's stupid. Why can't we have a group discussion and then ask the experts, they answer the question one time, and it's over with? That's the way it should. Seems to me like you're trying to curtail dialogue here. That's the purpose behind this, obviously, to me. Another one is this affordable housing project discussion coming up, okay? We have to go on a 5-hour tour in order to ask national core questions. What kind of a deal is that? I'm serious. I don't want to go on a 5-hour tour to Yorba Linda to look at their building. I'm concerned what's living inside the building. I don't care what the building looks like. It matters to me the people inside. You can't show me that. But yet you're not allowing me to ask national core questions. There should be an hour reserved either before the tour starts or after they get back where the public can come down and ask national core questions. Some of us don't have the time on a Saturday. Some of us don't have the interest in order to involve something like that. One other important comment I have here. I went down around Rockfield and that area down there and questioned a lot of merchants in the last couple of weeks. It's appalling what they tell me. They're being shoplifted by teams of homeless vagrants that come into their stores, steal stuff brazenly, blatantly, walk out with it. The guy says, hey, you got to pay for that. F you. And they call the police, and the police say it's not worth our time. We just gave the Orange County Sheriff's Department a 15% raise over 4 years. They don't have the time to come down to protect our merchants from shoplifters. This is an open destruction of societal order, and it needs to stop. And don't tell me they can't enforce the laws. Shoplifting is still a crime. Drug use is still a crime. All that is, no, don't shake your head. It's all still a crime. You can still at least cite them, and then if they don't appear, or if they fail to pay their fine, then take them to jail, like you would with any of us, of the rest of us. If I was pulled over for a traffic ticket and I didn't pay my ticket or go to court, they would impound my car and take me to jail. Treat the homeless the same way. Why do they have privileges I don't?
Loretta Hurin, followed by Bob Holtzclaw.
Hello. I just have 2 things to talk about tonight, and they're good things, so be happy. First, I want to say thank you for the opportunity that I could attend the National Recreation and Park Conference. You got your money's worth. I attended about 20 different sessions while I was there. They ranged from homelessness to a music making class, and obviously I learned a lot. And one of the things that they are really encouraging is everybody to take a mental health first aid class. It's like, I hadn't heard of it, but the closest one we have right now is in Long Beach, so maybe we can have somebody come and they said it's really good in regards to staff to learn how to deal with the youth and with the seniors and of course just regular adults. 1 out of 5 people have some kind of a anxiety or depression thing, they said. Next, if you are attending the League of California Cities Conference, anybody? Okay, so please stop by the California Park and Recreation Commissioners and Board Members booth. I am the president of that organization this year, and this is our first time that we will be there at the expo. So I'd like everyone to come by and say hello. So thank you. All right, bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Our last speaker card is from Bob Holtzclaw.
Hello, Bob Holtzclaw, resident of Lake Forest. I want to read off a few things here, and I've got a couple items here. One is about the homeless groups that always bring up veterans. And I'd like to point out that I don't know if they're using it for their agenda or what, but we have 22 different agencies for veterans. And I don't know if Lieutenant Taylor has this, but I'd like to give this to Lieutenant Taylor. There's 22 on there. If you want to count the Veterans Hospital in Long Beach, that's 23. There's a lot of associations that can be helped by homeless veterans, if they're actually homeless veterans.
Another thing we have is at the homeless corner right there on El Toro Road in Rockfield. I've got a picture of it on my phone. They have a barbecue now. They're barbecuing. Now, with all the fires going on around here, especially in Los Angeles, I've got a picture of the barbecue, and they have a charcoal bag right next to it. Now, where are they dumping all the hot coals after they're finished barbecuing? You know, it's a real bad situation. It's on the corner of where Home Depot is. Last thing I have is there's a lot of trees that are going across the telephone wires around Geronimo and El Toro Road. These big limbs are, some of them are about 6 to 8 inches big. If we get winds like we always do in October, one of those limbs might break and knock the wires down. A lot of people in Lake One call the, Edison Company. And Edison Company came out and said, well, those aren't our big cables on the bottom. Ours are way up at the top. So we don't see anything to trim those trees. Well, the one that was below it is actually Cox Cable. And I called up Cox Cable myself, and they said, well, we don't really do any of those kind of trimming things. Maybe the homeowner should do it, or maybe the city, or maybe the county, or whoever's in charge of that. I think if Mr. Wheeler can find out whose trees those are and have those things trimmed, because I tell you what, if around 200 or 300 cable lines are out and nobody gets TV, guess who they're going to be pointing to? Right up here. So I'd like to see someone out there actually look at those. They're pine trees. So hopefully you can get a hold of somebody. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Facebook Live.
Yes, sir, we have two. Martin Henderson, comment for council. Although I recognize details of closed session item 2 cannot be discussed publicly, residents deserve some clarification as to why the city is involved in real property negotiations with Nikasi Brothers Nursery and Toll Brothers when A, the city has not made any formal decision on whether to rezone the land to facilitate a sale, and B, the city has not approved plans for the prospective buyer that might be a condition of the sale. On the surface, it appears the city is acting in accordance with the council that has already made those determinations irrespective of public comment and due process. Please explain why the city is a negotiating party for the price and terms of payment for private companies in the process of making a multi-million-dollar transaction. Ultimately, the residents deserve to know who made the determination that the city would participate in these negotiations. As described in the agenda, such involvement in a matter not yet decided gives the appearance of a backroom deal in which the city has put the cart before the horse and rezoned the land before approval. Please provide some clarification. The second, Bodie 714, comment to council. I respectfully request that tonight's meeting be adjourned in memory of Chief Petty Officer Jason Christopher Finian, who was killed in action in Iraq on October 20th, 2016. Jason's family lives in Lake Forest.
Could you repeat that name, please?
Yes, sir. Jason Christopher Finian, F-I-N-A-N. Finan.
Actually grew up and went to school in El Toro, Lake Forest.
Okay, thank you very much. So let's see if we can respond to some of the comments made. One had to do with the starting of a road project and expectation about the starting time and work that may be done in advance of the physical start. So maybe you could just give us if it's okay if I get a brief.
Oh, be glad to. We issued the notice to proceed for that project. The contractor has been out there and done his surveying work. He's tying in the existing conditions with the design. He's got a few more questions, so he's working with the engineer to make sure the design is, they understand what they're doing out there before they tear anything out.
Okay. And then regarding Mr. or Dr. Wheeler and the marijuana dispensaries that are adjacent to his practice. Please.
Mr. Mayor, Council, we are aware of that dispensary. We have begun, in conjunction with the code enforcement team, code enforcement and legal proceedings against that dispensary, also involving the property owner. I'd be happy to actually share my contact info with the speaker so I can explain in more detail what that process looks like, the timing of the process, and what they can expect.
Okay. We should have the contact information, I'm hoping, from the gentleman, in which case, is he still here? Oh, there he is. Do we have some contact information on there? Yes. So you'll be contacted to get you caught up on what's going on. Regarding the affordable housing tour, I'll give a brief comment and then staff can supplement that, but the intent was to provide an opportunity for those to go look at a National Core property. No obligation to go if you don't want to. It was meant to just be in above and beyond what other processes there are going to go forward. So there's been no final deal with that project. That still has a long way to go in terms of environmental processes and other approvals. But my request from National Core was to provide an opportunity for those who wanted to go see the property, to go look at the property, but nobody's obligated to go. As far as any more dialogue from National Core, I know there'll be many more public meetings down the road for opportunities for people to engage and ask questions. So those are there. Was National Core going to be doing any sort of a particular presentation on that day? I don't know, so I'm asking.
My understanding is there will be some sort of presentation as part of the bus tour.
Okay. So there will be an opportunity for some
Yes.
level of engagement
For
as well
interaction with those that go on the tour with the National Core staff.
Okay. And then the issue around the homeless workshop, or whatever the right term would be, maybe you could just give a little bit about the thought from staff's perspective as to why that venue, why that approach.
Certainly. We anticipate about 100 people attending, and so that meant we needed a larger facility with plenty of parking, and so we chose the sports park. We chose a charrette-style meeting as opposed to a town hall. We wanted people to have an opportunity to speak directly with those who are working with the homeless. So they'll have an opportunity to interact with the city attorney, with myself, with representatives from our homeless outreach service providers, CityNet and Mercy House. We're trying to get the homeless czar from the county, Susan Price. We haven't confirmed her yet, but we're hopeful that she'll be able to join us. There'll also be service providers such as Families Forward to be there, but we wanted people to have an opportunity to interact directly with, for example, our landscape architect and talk about what they'd like to see at the arbors if we were to do a redesign. What we found is that for some people, they're uncomfortable with public speaking and speaking in front of large crowds, and they prefer to have one-on-one conversations. And so we wanted to encourage that. And so we chose this. We feel that it's a great way to get input from the community, but also give community members an opportunity to interact one-on-one with those people who are working with our Lake Forest homeless.
And then, okay, we'll leave it at that. Okay, so thank you for that. The comment from Mr. Holzclaw about the trees, so staff can, I don't know in particular, but if their staff can look into those power line issues and potential interaction between those power lines.
Correct. We'll make contact with the utility company and look into that.
Great, thank you very much. And then to the city attorney, I don't know if there's anything more you can share about the discussions we had in closed session. I know it's nothing reportable, but is there anything else you can say about that, just for?
Sure, Mr. Mayor, Council. The council can only discuss, as was noted, price in terms of payment of real property. Nothing more when it comes to a real property deal, certainly a potential project in the city. When there is a possibility of property being provided to the city or purchased by the city, the council can discuss the potential, again, price in terms of payment. Nothing can be decided finally in closed session. Everything has to happen in open session. With the Nikasi project, there will be a series of public hearings where the public will have a full opportunity to discuss every aspect of the entitlements, potential development agreements, dedications to the city, sale, purchase of property, et cetera. So everything will happen both at Planning Commission and at council level, openly and publicly.
Okay. Thank you very much. All right, that completes the public comment portion. We are going to go on to the consent calendar. Let's see. All matters on the consent calendar are considered routine and will be enacted by one vote. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless members of the City Council, public, or staff request specific items be removed from the consent calendar for separate action. Have there been any requests to remove anything from the consent calendar from the public?
I have not received any.
Okay. Colleagues, consent
No,
calendar 4 through 12?
I'll move the consent calendar with a comment on warrant registry. There is a warrant registry for the County of Orange. I'm an employee of the County of Orange, and I do not work for the departments that generate the warrants. Because the County of Orange is the public agency, and because I do not work for the departments in question, I have determined that I have a non-interest in these warrants, and I will vote on them. Thank you. And I'll move the items.
Okay. And
I wanted to pull item 10.
item 10. And before we go on, there's a warrant on the register to Irvine Ranch Water District. I'm an employee of Irvine Ranch Water District, but I do not work for the department that generated the warrant. Because the Irvine Ranch Water District is a public agency, and because I do not work for the department in question, I have determined that I have a non-interest in this warrant, and I will vote on that matter. So to the maker of the motion, can we have item poll 10. Is there any other items to be pulled? So can we get a motion on the balance?
We have
I'll take a motion on the rest, remainder.
Okay.
I think that's what I already did, but
That's fine. So we have a motion and a second to approve all the items except,
We don't have any speakers.
I'm sorry?
Oh, I was just commenting that we have no speakers on consent calendar items.
Okay, thank you. So we have a motion and a second to approve all the items on the consent calendar except item 10. So let's go ahead and vote on that.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you very much. So item 10, amendments to agreements for traffic engineering services with Hartzog and Crabbill, Inc. and Albert Grover and Associates. Councilmember Robinson.
So just a couple of brief questions. On, I think, page 146 of my document, I'm not sure how that shows up for you all, but it's basically in the, just right beyond the executive summary. It talks about development review and the traffic engineering staff support. I had some questions regarding the staff support. So it says this work up to $125,000 includes assistance with permit parking reviews and programs and support services for the Traffic and Parking Commission, administration and management of traffic related CIPs, including signal synchronization projects. So out of this 125, how much of this would be spent on Traffic and Parking Commission related studies? Just a general ballpark percentage. Sorry,
ask
I
our
didn't
traffic
ask you
engineering
before,
manager
so I'm not trying to put you on the spot. So
No,
sorry.
this particular aspect of the work is about a 20-hour a week supplemental staff support. Of that, I would suggest 4 to 5 hours a week is probably
Maybe like
spent on, quarter spent on parking issues and other things like that, with the rest spread amongst the other items that you see here.
Okay, and then with the synchronization projects, that's typically something we're getting some M2 grants and things like
We
that.
are,
from. So
the
some of that-
programs we are participating in are 80% is paid through our M2 or OC Go Now program through OCTA through a competitive program. The 20% the local agencies have to come up with as part of that, even though in this case OCTA is running the program, we have to attend meetings and do some support and do some implementation of some of the timing. So that is what that entails.
Okay, and then finally we've discussed with permit parking fees for those requesting. Is this something that would be built into those fees, the time that is spent from this particular contract?
Certainly, when our consultant who developed the fee structure would have incorporated that into the initial recommendations to the council in terms of what the cost is associated with that. And so part of the program that we're just about to launch into, that would be, part of that would be the reimbursement for some of that work.
Okay. Yeah, it's just that cost recovery I know is important as we're looking at future budget challenges. So
absolutely,
appreciate the comments there. That's all I had. So I'll move the item unless there's any others.
I'll second that.
Okay. Motion and a second. Go ahead and vote.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you. Next, public hearing. Item 13, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Lake Forest adopting a new fee related to the nonprofit park rental program.
Mayor and members of the council, we have this very short report by Scott Wasserman, our Director of Community Services.
Actually, thank you. I'm going to turn it over to Management Analyst Nicole Miller for the presentation.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. At its meeting of September 3rd, the City Council directed staff to initiate a nonprofit park rental pilot program to allow the Boys and Girls Club to operate a pop-up after-school enrichment program at El Toro Park. In return for using a city park as the program venue, the City Council directed staff to charge the club a fee of $5 per enrollee per school trimester. In order to charge this fee, the City Council must approve a resolution adopting the new fee by a vote of 4/5, consistent with the Lake Forest Municipal Code. The City Council approved such a resolution at its meeting of October 1st. However, the resolution only received 3 total votes, and the 4/5 threshold was not met. Therefore, staff is presenting the resolution again this evening to allow all City Council members an opportunity to review the item. At this time, staff recommends that the City Council first open the public hearing and approve a resolution adopting a new fee related to a nonprofit park rental program, allowing the city to charge the club a rate of $5 per enrollee per school trimester during the length of the pilot program. This concludes my presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. So as indicated, this is a public hearing, so we will open it up for public comment. Have we had anybody request to speak on this item?
I have not received any.
Okay, I will offer again. Does anybody here wish to address the City Council on this matter? Okay, seeing none, we will close the public comment portion and bring it back to the dais. Folks?
If there's no comments, I'll move the recommended action
I'll
to
second
adopt
that
the
item.
resolution.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Go ahead and vote.
Motion carries unanimously.
All right, very good. Thank you. That brings us to the discussion items. Number 14, City Council vacancy, to consider applications and appoint a member for the remainder of the 4-year term expiring December 2020. Is there any intro here from staff?
We actually have several speaker cards
Okay.
on the
Is there
item.
any more background, or is that all? We're just going to go right into comments? Okay, very good. So public comments.
Andrew O'Connor, followed by Craig Hall.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. My name is Andrew O'Connor, Foothill Ranch, original resident since 1990. Before I begin my presentation, I'm going on record to say my civil rights have been violated tonight by the Mayor Pro Tem by calling me a criminal. And behind me is Deputy Sheriff Barnes, and Deputy Barnes, I have great respect for your lieutenant here. I've worked with the Sheriff's Department in many areas, and it's pretty sad when you get called out in your community that you work so hard for that you're called a criminal. So I've passed out my discussion, what I want to talk to you about tonight. I've also sent Ask Lake Forest ticket on this 2 weeks ago and never received an answer on it. It's here before you. I'm saying the selection process is subjective. What I proposed was a rubric. In education, we use a rubric. We go 1 through 4. You get 1 point for the lowest score, 4 points for the highest scores. There's 8 sections in this application process. The highest score you get is 32. Okay, the person with the highest score should be fill this vacancy. For instance, in the section 1, it talks about residency. I think you should get 1 point if you lived in the community for 1 to 5 years, 2 points, 6 to 10, 3 points, 11 to 15. And myself, I think I get 4 points because I've lived here over 20 years. And not only that, I've been coming to this dais before many of you were on the council. Okay, I've been coming when Bob Dunick was the city manager. College education should be presented, civic experience, whether you guys like me or not. I come up here month after month, explain what needs to be done. That civic experience, it's gone on for a long time. It's all dated, it's all in the file. You can check for yourself, probably over 12 years. Again, since Bob Dunick was the city manager. It's very subjective on this area. You know, $42,000 stunt for the residents ask for things that these 4 councilmen don't listen to. Priorities of the city I've answered. Participation in civic matters. How many people have sent over 100 Ask Lake Forest tickets? City manager? None. I have. Whether it's traffic lights that don't work, water sprinklers broken, palm fronds, signage, code enforcement. You name me one person in the city who's given over 100 tickets, and they're all good tickets. I just did 7 this weekend, okay? How many people get up at 6 o'clock on a Sunday morning to go around the city and find lights that are burned out? Nobody except Andy O'Connor, okay? So in conclusion, this is the rubric you should have been following. Scoring it, it would have been objective. But what you're using is a subjective ticket, and I don't think it's fair. And I will place a ticket tonight that I want to see all the paperwork that you guys used to vote and how you came to the position you did, because it's public records, and I'll request the public records on all your voting and all your documentation. Thank you.
Craig Hall, followed by Josh Ebner.
So I'm here tonight to speak about Louise Robertson. She has applied for this position with you guys. I've known Louise for probably 20 years. She is on our homeowners association board. I find her extremely easy to work with. She's always prepared for the meetings and does a lot of research to try to improve our homeowners association. We had an issue come up, and she asked me to, she asked for some, my opinion on it. It actually differed from hers, and she actually wanted me to be on the committee, even though I had a different opinion than she did. It was for it was a pool renovation committee. I thought that was pretty interesting that, if they were looking for different opinions besides those that were, on the board currently, the committee, they were looking for, alternative opinions. I thought that was the way to do it, not to be, as the gentleman before me seems to be very aggressive. I'm not sure that is a proper person that you need sitting up there with you guys when they're that aggressive. So anyway, good luck with your decision. I don't know anything that Andy was talking about there as far as how you're making your determination. I can just say that I think Louise would be a good fit for this board.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks.
I am Josh Abner, MBA. Relevant to my comments is I have a Series 7 securities license, Series 82 license for private equity. And several residents came up and said, hey, should I apply to become the city council? And I said, absolutely not, because the system is rigged. And we started a pool before, for people that follow the city council. And I put $100 on Benjamin Yu, and I put $200 on Robertson, because he was with the sheriffs. So I would like to provide this evidence. And I want it to be part of the agenda. I'm shooting my own video, so Jonathan won't edit the video because he edits things that are bad PR for the city. Now on there is family time collection that doing our investigation, we forwarded this to the U.S. Attorney and the FBI, and they've been very nice in our communications with them. It's a Chinese birther home. Now this Chinese birther home gave $1,500 to Nikki to her campaign, right? This is the way corruption works for my people watching on Facebook. They give her $1,500, she votes for Vu to be on the city council. Corruption 101, all documented. I had a friend of mine who knows Chinese. he went on, and Family Time Collection from Lake Forest advertises itself as a birther home in Lake Forest, right? Sheriff Taylor knows that several birther homes were busted in Baker Ranch. And then we go to Robertson. I did a podcast, and I'm very fortunate that my podcast now has over 7,500 downloads between Lake Forest, Rancho Santa Margarita, and Mission Viejo. And I got a really nice note from a sheriff from the Orange County Sheriff's Department. He says, "Thank you for doing this, because I take my job seriously," right? So I'll go macro to micro. If you look at the history of the Orange County Sheriff's Department, it starts with Mickey Cohen and the people that he paid off in the 50s and the 60s. You go to Mike Corona, Bustamante, who were arrested and charged and convicted of multiple felonies. And now you go to the snitch scandal. Then micro to me, right? With all my securities licenses, the SEC has a direct line to my computer. I have a clean criminal record. Bland from Chief's Tariff Department, right, lied to a judge in order to get a search warrant, right? Taylor, Barnes knows that if you have to lie to a judge to get a search warrant, shouldn't that be a clue that the guy's innocent?
You need to wrap up your comments, please.
Well, you gave other people up to 4 minutes, all right? And I'm going to close with that. And the only reason I do that is because it made a comment to me that you allow white people to have more time, and when minorities come up here, you cut them off at 3 minutes. So I'll make a note of that, and there's video evidence of this. So, in closing, if you have to lie to a judge in order to get a search warrant on a guy that has a clean record, that should be a clue to you that you shouldn't be doing that and that you should be doing your job better. So Robertson saying that he's been 28 years in the Sheriff's Department, what did he do about Bustamante? What did he do about Corona? Any of you guys? What are you doing about the neo-Nazis at the Sheriff's Department, right? What are you doing about it? So, right, with my experience, there's no way I feel safe with Robertson as a city council people, right? Because I haven't heard anything, right, from Bland for what he did to me, which is okay. I have friends of mine that are on Barnes level at several police departments around the country, people I went to high school with and college with, that are great people, and they deal with corruption, and they deal with corrupt cops all the time. Cities that have organized crime in the Costa Nostra there. So I understand there's a big world, and I have to depend on myself. I can't depend on Taylor. I contacted Deborah Rhodes. I can't depend on her, right? I contacted her this about her. She did nothing about it. Why? Because she doesn't care. But that's all right. That's okay. We're all big people here, and we're all responsible for ourselves and our actions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Kelly Regier, followed by Eric Larson.
Thank you, and good evening to you all. My name's Kelly Regier. I've been a resident of Foothill Ranch, the neighborhood of Lake Forest, for 14 years. And I'm here to speak tonight to encourage you to appoint Louise Robertson to the vacant city council seat. I first met Louise when I began volunteering with the PTA and the Foothill Ranch Kids Foundation at Foothill Ranch Elementary School. She impressed me then as someone who is thoughtful, intelligent, and solely motivated to do what is good for the school's kids. And in observing her throughout the years in her leadership roles in different schools' PTAs, the Saddleback Valley Unified PTA, and now more recently as part of our Foothill Ranch Homeowners Association Board, I can say with complete confidence that she will fill this position with no agenda other than to make our city the best place to live for our children and our families. She's fair and the kind of person who's willing to do the hard work to study the issues, make up her own mind, and do what's in the best interest of our residents. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak with you, and I hope you strongly consider Louise Robertson for the post. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Eric Larson, and our last speaker is Amit Singh. And just for the record, all the candidates will have an opportunity to come and address the council if that changes his mind.
Good evening, Council. My name is Eric Larson. I have lived in the Lake Forest area for over 30 years, which I guess gives me about 4 points if I would be running for council member. But I'm here first time at a council meeting, and I have been informed, entertained, and I think, why did I ever think of not coming here tonight instead of watching the Democrats go after each other in their debate? But I'm here to discuss Louise Robertson and her desire to serve as a member of the council here. I could give you great stories about Louise. She's worked in a number of major volunteer efforts in the area. Something our church does called the Harvest Pack, where we do 250,000 meals, pack those in one day, again managed by Louise Robertson. We do a Christmas pageant every year where we have over a 3-day period, roughly 5,000 people that attend, again managed by Louise Robertson. But I wanted to talk about, other than her great and glorious achievements along those lines, I wanted to talk about her heart. One thing I think that sets Louise apart from many of the people that I know is her ability and desire to listen. Not just to shake hands and figuratively kiss babies, but Louise is a person, a lady, a woman that is willing to listen and then make a decision that she feels is best for the city of Lake Forest. She has great academic credentials. She's a mother of fine boys that I know each personally. She has raised them in this area, and she would be an ideal addition to this council, help this city grow, help it move in the right direction, and again, be a person with passion and direction, and one that is completely committed to making this a better place, not only today, but in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And Mr. Singh is holding off his comments until the other candidates are called.
Okay. So that completes the public comment. I'm sorry, thank you. Facebook Live?
Yes, sir, we have a couple. Stephen Smith, comment to council. I am interested in hearing about Andy O'Connor's experience as a special education teacher. He listed no experience in any school districts. Sean Fletcher, comment to council. Concerning any decision to consider either Andrew O'Connor or Bob Stewart as a replacement to Councilmember Basil's open seat, I would ask that the council to vote no on both. Andrew O'Connor has shown time and time again that he is incapable of interacting civilly in a public dialogue, is McCarthyistic in his use of rumors, innuendos, and conspiracy theories. He has been known to harass members of the public, both personally and against citizens' employers. Bob Stewart has been caught during the last election performing illegal canvassing of election flyers on private property, also tends to push conspiracy theories and rumors in public and on social media, and during the last election, when asked about his party affiliation, his response was, "I am not a Democrat." Neither of these individuals have any business being in front of the public, speaking at a podium, let alone on a council seat. Jim Carter, comment to council. I support Louise Robertson's application to serve on the city council wholeheartedly. I've known Louise since 1993 when I moved into Foothill Ranch. She is bright, quick to understand issues, logical, fair, dedicated to following the rules and law, and has the community's interest at heart. I've worked with her in leadership roles over the years and have always found her committed to those whom she serves. I feel she would bring much to the city council and would well represent the community in her efforts. That is all.
That completes the public comment portion. So I think staff is going to share a little bit about our process.
Sure. Mayor, members of the City Council, there are 12 candidates that submitted applications to serve the remainder of the currently vacant council member term that expires in December of 2020. All applicants have met the minimum eligibility requirements and will have an opportunity to address the council. They'll each be given 3 minutes to address you all. I will be calling them in alphabetical order. But just for informational purposes, I will discuss the nomination process as to how council will consider the applications. There are no provisions in the Elections Code or the Lake Forest Municipal Code as to the process. So this is a subjective process for the council to consider. Staff, however, recommends the following. The city clerk will hand each of the council members a ballot sheet with all the officials or other candidates listed. They will rank their top 3 candidates, 1, 2, and 3. I will tally the ballots and report out what that result is. If a candidate receives if it's the number 1 choice for 3 council members, that candidate will move forward and be considered for appointment. If not, the council will call the semifinalist and will have a short list of candidates that will have an opportunity to be asked questions by the council in no specific order. I will then hand another ballot sheet in which they will again rank their top candidates. And again, if a member receives more than 3, that candidate will be able to be voted on. If there isn't a candidate, the mayor will receive nominations on the floor, and those will be considered individually.
And just to add to that, this is similar, not exactly the same, but similar to the process that was done 4 years ago? I forget, 6 years ago, okay. So this is somewhat modeled after that with some voting and eventually transitioning to an open discussion at the dais. So very good.
So our first candidate is Lori Berger, followed by Roger Gutierrez. I apologize.
Good evening. I'm a resident of Portola Hills, which is otherwise known as District 1. Leah was a council member from that district. I know she is an absolute tough act to follow. She really did a lot for the city, and I'm hopeful that I can do a lot for the city as well. I'm a licensed real estate broker. That doesn't necessarily mean that I'm pro-building. I'm more I would look at more of a balanced approach. I think we have a lot of building going on, and I would like to see more balance. I'm going through the Leadership Academy currently. I'm very impressed with the academy. I think it's great for the residents, and I'm glad that I've done that. I'm very impressed with our city. We're fully funded, so that's nice to hear. I'm currently on the Portola Hills 1 board. I am the treasurer, and I'm also the chair of the social committee and finance committee. So I have been on previous boards, previous committees, and I have credentials in community association management. I'm a property management master. I have further credentials in community association management. So my thing is, I love people. Hi, Scott. I'm a little bit nervous, sorry.
Are you doing good?
But I love people, and I think I've seen tonight that we have some people who are angry, and I would love to reach out to those people. I would love for them to feel more like a closer-knit community. I think we're getting a little bit away from that with our big city feel, with all of the building. And so that's something that I would like to bring back to the city, is more of a community feel. I think all of you are doing a terrific job, though. I will say that. I know Scott's on a lot of committees, and you all are doing a wonderful job. So I really appreciate that for our city, so thank you very much. And I would really love to be considered for this special vacant seat, and I think I would do a terrific job. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Roger Gutierrez, followed by Kelly Lynn Holiday.
Hi, Council. Thank you for considering me to fill this vacancy. I've been living in Lake Forest for 25 years. Me and my wife have raised 3 children here. All of them went to Lake Forest Elementary, Serrano Intermediate, and El Toro High School. and my youngest is a senior there, and I'm this close to being an empty nester. So I have experience with Orange County Fire Authority. I was a reserve firefighter. I've been involved with AYSO for 13 years, Lake Forest Little League, and currently the treasurer for the El Toro Boys Basketball Booster Club, and was previously the vice president for the girls lacrosse at El Toro. So I like to be involved with the community. I feel I can help. I've worked for Hartford Insurance for 31 years. I just realized tonight that my experience of meeting with claimants and insureds who want money and you're investigating them, I've developed a thicker skin of people yelling at me in person. So I don't know how you do it, but just like everyone in this room, I want to help the city of Lake Forest, where I live. I care about it, and I think I can help listen to the arguments, don't jump to conclusions. There's always two sides to an argument, and I just want to help the city of Lake Forest for the year remaining on this term. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Callie Lynn Holliday, followed by Michael James.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, and council members for giving me this opportunity to address you all this evening. I hope you were able to read my application. I'm a bit old school. As you may remember, while I was pursuing my communications degree during my senior year of college, I had the good fortune to be offered an internship with the Government Access Channel 18 in Santa Barbara, California. My position involved attending city council meetings, writing a summation report of these meetings, and presenting this report on camera in a repeated television broadcast each Wednesday evening. While perhaps not the most riveting primetime program in its time slot, and truth be told, my roommates and I may have been among the only viewers, this experience gave me an invaluable opportunity to serve my community and introduce me firsthand to the functions of city government, specifically the role of council in assessing a city's goals, its major projects, infrastructure improvements, land use, policy making, and allocation of finances. While my city of residence has included locations throughout California, the United States, and abroad since college, my appreciation for a city's functioning interdepartmental structure and balancing of often complex and challenging needs with finite financial resources has remained with me to this day. My subsequent work for a major airline carrier, hotel chain, in news and entertainment, in pharmaceutical sales, and utilization of my California teaching credential in public school classrooms has offered me a rich and varied professional background and great personal growth and satisfaction. In meeting people of all colors, cultures, and creeds all over the world, I have seen more often than not that people truly want the same things for themselves and their families. And as my pastor, Rick Warren, regularly states so well, people don't care what you know until they know that you care. My husband's opportunity with a startup company on Bake Parkway brought us to Lake Forest 12 years ago, and I have truly found my home here. I often kid they're going to carry me out of my house one day, but I'm not really kidding, I mean it. Upon our arrival in 2007, I immediately got involved volunteering in my daughter's school classrooms and after-school programs, and have since been actively an active participant with my homeowners association. I serve on the Helena Modjeska Board Foundation, overseeing the Arden Estate in Modjeska Canyon. I have walked twice in our fabulous 4th of July parade. I've performed 2 shows with our fine theatrical venue, the Modjeska Playhouse, and will perform Shakespeare this weekend with the Modjeska Players at Arden. I completed the Lake Forest Preparedness Academy, as it was formerly known, and am currently a participant in the Citizens Leadership Academy. I have worked directly with our traffic engineer, Doug Anderson, in implementing safety modifications on Trabuco at Dana Plaza and upgrades to fixtures in Serrano Creek Park and the Serrano Park community. I feel blessed to have been able to raise my daughter in such a vibrant, safe, and financially sound city. I will tell you I often find myself walking my two very protective dogs at 11 o'clock at night, and I'm so grateful I feel safe enough to do so. I want to forever keep it that way. I would be honored to serve on our council. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Michael James, followed by Andrew O'Connor.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you this evening about this very important appointment. I was born and raised in Orange County. I was born in Santa Ana, grew up in Garden Grove, and I've lived my entire life here. My wife and I moved to the Saddleback Valley in 1988, the year we were married, so we're on our 31st anniversary this year, which we just celebrated, and we decided it was a great place to raise our family. Shortly thereafter, I was assigned to the city of Lake Forest, then El Toro, as a young patrol deputy. I trained on these very streets of Lake Forest with men and women that we sit around here today and talk about still to the day. Very fond memories. We had 3 children, which we raised in the city. They all attended Portola Hills Elementary School, where I reside, Serrano, and El Toro High School. They all participated in numerous activities, club sports, school activities, international baccalaureate program. All 3 of my sons at the end of next year, hopefully, will have a college degree. My oldest son has a master's degree from Chapman. My middle son played college baseball and has a degree in finance from University of San Francisco and is currently serving the city of Orange as a police officer. And my youngest son is attending the University of Auburn in Alabama. And he will hopefully graduate next year. War Eagle. I put in for this position because I think I can help. I love to work with other people. I love to address problems that are difficult. In 2012, I retired from the Orange County Sheriff's Department after 28 years of service. 28 years of honorable service that I'm very proud of, and I'll stand up and talk to anybody about those. I've never shied away from any of the issues we've had at the Orange County Sheriff's Department. You can find press clippings of me all over the place talking about the Orange County Sheriff's Department. I love the Orange County Sheriff's Department, make no doubt about it. I love to work there. I would love to still work there, but time came to come and go. I worked for a couple years at Costa Mesa Police Department as a consultant, helping them with multiple projects. I also worked for about 9 months at the Monterey County Sheriff's Office running their jails and courts because they had a need for a full-time replacement that I wasn't interested in, but I helped them and manage theirs. For the last 5 years, I've been the executive director of the Integrated Law and Justice Agency in Orange County, and that is all of the public safety agencies in the county, including the sheriff, the DA, the public defender, the courts, probation, the Orange County CEO, all of the police departments, the independent police departments, and then we also have 3 city managers that sit on our board. So we have a 17-member voting board. So I conduct public meetings in the Joint Powers Authority every month, and we have them every month. We work on matters of mutual interest to law enforcement agencies, including information sharing and efficiencies in law enforcement to save money on multiple levels. In my spare time, I volunteer at Laura's House. I'm on their board of directors. That's a position that I actually contribute to be on. I don't get paid for it. I've been doing that for 5 years. I volunteer in their shelter. I volunteer assisting others there. I volunteer building things for them. In Lake Forest at the resale store, I actually help plant trees to cover up containers on the back at the city's request, so we worked very hard on those to get them done. I want to tell you that I see my time's up, so I will wrap it up. I want to assure you that if I am appointed to this position, I will listen. I will work well with you. I will work well with the city staff and the residents. I have been able to maintain a very professional reputation for many years, working in a very dangerous and strange profession that, again, I loved. And I maintain that reputation. I also brought with me tonight some letters of recommendation from people around the city, some from District 1 where I reside and some from other areas of Lake Forest, and I'll turn those over as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Andrew O'Connor, followed by Louise Marie Robertson.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Andrew O'Connor, Foothill Ranch since 1990. I'm going to give the Mayor Pro Tem a second chance to retract her comment earlier tonight calling me a criminal.
Me too.
Okay. Facebook Live asked about my experience as a special education teacher. You can go to the California Department of Education. You can look up my credential, and if you want to write it down, I'll give it to you slowly. It's www.ctc.ca.gov. And on the home page, it says, look up a educator. Type my name in, Andrew O'Connor, without the apostrophe. And there you will see I have 2 credentials. I have a mild moderate education specialist, professional clear level 2, the highest you can get, with autism authorization I've had for 15 years. I've worked in many school districts. In each school district, I left with a letter of recommendation. And anybody wants them, I got them in a zip file, I can send them to all of you. I have letters from parents thanking me that I've helped their child close the learning gap in their reading ability. I've worked with kids with single families, foster families, kids living in cars. So anybody wants to talk to me about my experience in education, I'll meet you anywhere, anytime, for as long as you want. But before I became in education, I was in the business world. And I worked for 2 of the most dynamic companies in the bicycle industry. Since 1980, I joined Shimano Inc., a Japanese multi-billion-dollar company. And it was during the golden era of the bicycle industry, when BMX, mountain bike, road racing, we had the 1984 Olympics right down here on Portola Parkway, the finish line, right there at McDonald's. What a wonderful experience. I could see the youth, Greg LeMond, coming from Carson, Nevada, and taking cycling to the epics. I've had a great international taste by traveling all over the world. And then I decided I want to work for one of the best entrepreneurs in Orange County, Richard Long. You guys might think Jim Gennard is the best entrepreneur at Oakley. Fine man, know him, saw him how he started. But Richard Long, he put the bicycle industry on his back, and unfortunately, he died unceremoniously going to a mountain bike race in Big Bear on a Saturday. So that's my background. Well, I don't want to be on the city council because I've been coming to this dais for 10 years, seeing things that are wrong and pointing them out. People behind me, they think I'm angry. Yeah, I'm upset. I'm upset when our city manager gets paid $238,000 a year and our governor gets paid $210,000. Let's put this in perspective, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I get upset when our mayor spends $217,000 on artwork for the new Civic Center that we could have gotten free from local Laguna Beach artists. Wouldn't you be upset? Yeah, I'm upset that he's budgeted $50,000 for an open house. I'm upset that our operating income is very, very narrow, that we only have $1 million cushion that could evaporate like that. So all my other 11 candidates, I didn't see you here last Thursday night. Where were you? When Toll Brothers was up here doing their dog and pony show about the Nacase property. And each one of the candidates says, well, we got to do something with Nacase property. Okay, what are you going to do? You weren't even at the meeting. Are you challenging them? How many of these 11 candidates have gone to a Saddleback Valley Unified School District Board meeting? Do they even know who the superintendent is? Robert Craven is the contact person. Susie Schwartz is the president. They get all my documentation. They're very grateful to me for the information I'm giving to the Saddleback School District because why? These 4 council members not sharing any information to them. If I didn't give the school district the information, they have no idea what's going on here by the city council. So yeah, you may say Andy's angry. You're darn right I'm angry because this place is going the wrong direction. You're overcrowding our schools. You're overcrowding our parks. El Toro and Foothill Ranch are the only libraries we have. It says in the EIR report they're at max. They can't take one more person. But you have approved Serrano Summit, 600 units. You're going to approve Nacase, 700. That's 1,600. Shea's building 85 on Peachwood. How much more can this city take? So yeah, I come up here and I point it out and I put it in writing and nobody comes back to refute back to me. It's a public record that it's wrong. But you want to criticize me tonight and do whatever you want? It's fine. I don't care. If I sit in that chair, you know what's going to happen. But if I don't sit in that chair, I will continue to come to this dais and explain to you what you're doing wrong. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Louise Marie Robertson, followed by Victor Schur.
I guess I should start by saying I've never worked for the Sheriff's Department. Good evening, Mayor Tedmer, Mayor Pro Tem, City Council members, and city staff. My name is Louise Robertson. I have a goal that we have a safe city with great amenities and a good community. Those are the goals that I have. Thank you for this opportunity to speak about why I think I'd be a good choice. And I'd like to thank those that spoke on my behalf. That was very nice. I had asked them, and not all of them. I thought that was very nice. So why do I want to be a candidate? So I've been a long-term resident, 22 years. I know some have been longer, but I've seen this city over the years. Those had said I was a responsible person, and I feel that I am a responsible person, and I do finish tasks that I'm assigned. I get it done. I'm also good at analyzing an issue, and I know that that's part of the position when we adopt the laws and policies of this city. I have a financial background. I was a CPA. I still have that license. I will use that when we're adopting budgets, when we're analyzing revenues and expenditures, and we are working towards appropriating funds. I think that I would work well with the city departments and the employees. And I think I've had a lot of civic experience. I have not had specific city experience. I was not there Thursday because I volunteer for the music program at the high school. I wanted to be there at the Nikasi event. I was very upset to miss that. I've been with my HOA, I've been with the PTA, you've heard some of those comments, and we've had to make some difficult decisions in those positions, and I was strong enough to make those, and I feel that that is something I will continue to do. When it has to be done, I am not afraid of it. I've also had to deal with difficult people, and I think I've been very fair with them, and I've listened to them even as, I guess what I'm saying is I'm prepared for some of this stuff that goes on in these meetings. I think I have a network of contacts through my experience working through the school board and other items. I've been here for these last couple months watching you guys. I know you guys have a hard job. I'm so grateful for the time that you guys put in. I've seen that you're thoughtful in your decisions as you've made these decisions over these last couple months. I would love to have an opportunity to work with you, and I think I'm a great candidate for that, and I just want to thank you for that.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Victor Schur, followed by Far Simnomni.
Wow, thank you for the opportunity, Mr. Mayor, City Council members, and staff. I've been up here before in the last many years that I've been in Lake Forest 17, and the decision to apply was taken very seriously. And I have to make a comment of all the folks that have preceded me on this microphone, very impressive backgrounds. I don't think anyone is not qualified to be considered, and it tells you a lot about our community and how diversified it is, that we're a community of various backgrounds and we bring a lot of value to the community. For myself, serving has always been a habit. I can't help myself. It started when I enlisted in the Army when I came out of college in the officer program during the Vietnam era. And from that beginning, being brought up in a Marine Corps family, born at Camp Pendleton, you develop a passion that you cannot learn. It has been part of you when you're growing up to seek your fortune, to seek utilizing all your skills that you can to be successful. My mission when I arrived in Lake Forest is a volunteer. I enjoy contributing at the grassroots level. 7 years on the Community Services Commission, formerly known as Parks and Recreation. And that service allowed me to connect with our local citizens and at the grassroots level to understand what their concerns and issues are. Because the only way we can learn about what our community needs is get down to the level of one-on-one and building relationships. I see the role of a council person precisely that way, as developing relationships with all our organizations, with all our volunteer organizations, because we have to work together to solve and address the issues that we have in front of us. So it's a very challenging position. Since I retired last year, I have the time and the energy to devote to what is necessary to become a successful council member. It's hard to realize how much work a part-time council person does, particularly if you're working full-time. And the demands being placed on the council is huge. No one is doubting any one of the 12 applicants based on their qualifications and what was expressed on the application. And I certainly don't want to get into echoing all the things I've listed and all the volunteer activities, from participating in the committees for the 25th anniversary of the city, all the way on the 4th of July parade, and the Veterans of Foreign Wars, which is a chapter in Mission Viejo that I participate in to help our veterans in need. And that's a very big passion of mine. And I like to see how we can diversify continually our activities so we can meet all the needs of our community. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Far Samnani, followed by Amit Singh.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. My name is Far Samnani, a 17-year resident of Lake Forest. Thank you so much for giving us your time to participate in this process. It's a great night. I'm happy to be here. I appreciate the opportunity and look forward to having an opportunity to serve our residents and contribute to our city. My family and I have lived in Lake Forest primarily 15 years in Portola Hills and 2 years in Foothill Ranch, but I collectively call it as Lake Forest. For the past 17 years, we have 2 children. Both my children were born here. We live close to the canyon. We love the city. We love being close to the nature. At night, we hear coyotes and owls and bunnies walking around. We enjoy that. I'm hoping that my kids will have the opportunity to also live here when they grow up. And I'm also hoping that all our residents will have the chance and opportunity to have and keep the same lifestyle that they have now and enjoy the amenities that we are blessed with here in Lake Forest. But to maintain a quality lifestyle, it requires good decision making, good management, and setting the right directions for our city. I basically and simply want to have a chance and be involved and have a role in this process. I believe I'm a very good decision maker. I make my decisions based on logic, based on data, based on my experience, and with good intentions. I work honestly and transparent, and I get along with people. About my background, the first part of my career was in radiation protection and environment health and safety, where I worked for UCLA and Lockheed for many years. Then we moved here to Orange County and owned a retail business. And for well over the past decade, I've been involved and active in commercial real estate. I have a very extensive knowledge and experience in commercial real estate, investments, management, finance, and acquisitions. I could be a very good asset to our city when it comes to really anything related to real estate. Now we have challenges and some big projects that city is working on. We are working on updating our general plan, 2040 general plan, which will have a very large impact and significant impact on the blueprint of our city for a very long time. We are growing as a city with new developments coming online and new influx of people moving here. So we need to work on providing the public infrastructure and amenities to accommodate to these people, such as building schools for children. We have homelessness issues, as mentioned tonight and previous meetings. We need to address that. It's rather small when you compare it to other cities in Southern California. Nonetheless, it's a very disturbing matter and issue, and it should be addressed. We're also building the Civic Center, which I believe is the largest investment we have made for our city since the sports park. We need to make sure that it gets done right, on time, and on budget. We've got a year left in this term. I will be honored to have the opportunity to serve our residents and assisting the city. I appreciate your considerations.
Thank you very much.
Amit Singh, followed by Robert Stewart.
Good evening, my name is Amit Singh. I'm a homeowner here in Lake Forest for the past 5 years. My wife and I have 2 young children. Our older daughter attends Foothill Ranch Elementary, and my younger daughter attends a Montessori school here in Lake Forest as well. I've worked in the technology industry for over 20 years in various capacities. My current position is in software sales to some of America's largest corporations. We chose to live here in Lake Forest because of the quality of life, the good schools, the parks, the shopping, and most of all, the great people. I applied for the vacant council position because I want to help keep Lake Forest a great place to live and do business. I believe I have 3 traits that would make an effective city council member, and I'll share those with you. The first is I feel I have the ability to quickly get up to speed on complex topics with multiple stakeholders. I've been watching closely some of the big issues our city faces. I was here at the Nicase meeting last Thursday, and going through all the information we have online, talking to various city employees, and I've been able to grasp some of the intricacies that go on with planning discussions and zoning discussions. The second is my ability to respect the voice of others with whom I disagree, while trying to find ways to compromise when appropriate. With all varying interests in a city like ours, compromising is sometimes a necessary trait to keep a municipal government functioning. And when the chasm between myself and others is too wide for compromise, I never allow that to stop me from being civil and cordial with whom I disagree. My basic belief is that we all love this city and we want to do what's best for it. Finally, my ability to represent the city in a professional manner and connect with people of varying backgrounds can go a long way in making sure no one in the city feels disenfranchised, and the image I project to outside agencies puts the city in the best possible light. To each of the councilmen, thank you for your service to our city, and thank you for considering me to join you.
Thank you very much.
Robert Stewart, followed by Joseph Frank Witt. Robert Stewart. Okay. Followed by Joseph Witt.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and City Council members. It's nice to be here. Thank you for your time and allowing me to speak tonight. It's my first time here, and recently I've been working a lot, and I have my time free, unlike this gentleman here who gets to come down here and actually say what the problems are. I will also be here and trying to help out in any way that I can. I'm sorry?
No, just go ahead and address us.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I'm a Marine. I served from 1985 to 1989. I stationed at Camp Pendleton, where I served in the infantry and exited with an honorable discharge. Afterwards, I went to ITT and got my associates in science, electrical engineering. I also got my BS in robotics. I volunteered as a Little League coach and went on to the board, and finally as a president of the league, and that was asked to me by the board since I'm unbiased and I had no children in the league. So I just volunteered just to be there. I also became a teacher. I left the state for a few years, and I went to New Mexico and became a teacher. I taught 5th and 6th grade kids. I love kids. I also coached the girls' basketball team there. I came back to California, and I've been working 13 years with a company called Conduent, which is a subcontractor for Metrolink. And I'm the senior technician there and also a supervisor. I've been living in Lake Forest in our house for 11 years. 13 years I rented for 2. This city is the best city I've ever been in. I've been in a multitude of cities in California. I've been in multiple cities in different states. I love the way it's ran, and I think we're going in the right direction. And I really appreciate all of the hard work that everybody here has done. And although some people have differences, I think we can all work them out. And I think even though it seems when people are really upset, I think we're a lot closer to negotiating something. And that way he feels, or other people feel, that they're listened to and that they're cared about. And I think that's important. I've been living here, like I said, for the last 11 years with my wife. And we have one daughter. She went to school here all the way. While she was in El Toro High School, she was in the band, and I volunteered doing all the heavy lifting for all the kids so they didn't have to do anything. She was also in a thing called the Young Marines, and that teaches them the qualities of being a Marine, kind of like the Devil Pups, but I guess for a little bit older kids. And so that taught her a lot of things, and where she's trying to become a Marine currently. Some of my attributes, I think a lot of people here said all the same things. I'll be real quick. I listen respectfully. I weigh a lot of different opinions. I'm not biased in any way. And I'll look for and see what's good for our community, not a friend, neighbor, or company. I'm willing to devote my time to this position. My family is aware of the time, and they're on board with it. My vote will be my vote. I'm not just going to go along with the vote because everybody else is going along with it. Do I need to get off?
Why don't you go ahead and wrap up?
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm not going to cut you off, but go ahead and just try and wrap up if you can.
Sorry. I think it's important for every council member to get along. Since I don't know any of you personally, I think the stronger the unit we are, the better it is for the city. I'm financially conservative. I like a balanced budget. I think improving traffic is a high priority. I think we need to attract new business, and our population grows. We need to make sure our city is safe and that people still want to come in here and enjoy it. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
And our last candidate is Benjamin Yu.
Thank you so much, Mayor and Mayor Pro Tem and the council member having me here tonight. Thank you so much. Got a lot of praise tonight. It's just like said, for people get much more required. I'm just an average Joe, an immigrant, came here a little over 20 years ago. I was so blessed to have a job during a good time in New York City, working Wall Street while going to college full time at night. And then 9/11 happens, so I decided to join this military service to serve this career line. Love so much, which afford me the opportunities. And eventually, I got injured in the military service and I received 100% disability from Department of Veteran Affairs in my early 20s. And later on, I worked for DAV. I'm a trained veteran service officer and involved a lot of community service, and once was a chapter legislator. Just like one of my very good friend, which I named my daughter after, her name's Caroline. She's African American, and she said, in the old times, we don't really go out, yell and scream at people. We put our suit on and face people with grace, because we want to show them who we are and we are here, because in the end, no matter what, we are all Americans. We are more same than the difference separate us. Americans not only by birth, but also by choice. I'm a naturalized American citizen based on military service. I traveled around the countries and eventually I went to Seattle, go back to school with my 9/11 GI Bills, met my wife there. Our daughter is coming, so I have to get out of school the second time. Thank you. And we went into the business. And I'm glad we have that tremendous opportunity in our community at this relatively young age. I can have a comfortable life, don't have any financial debt other than just a new car. At the Irvine BMW, they say you have to take this car's loan to get that car's incentive. Otherwise, I'm a very financially conservative person. I have the ability, capacity, and the willingness to give back to my community. I believe it's give more than what you take to have a sustainable community, and just like our President JFK said, now ask what your country can do for you. Ask for what your country you can do for your country. That's why I'm here today. I have that tremendous life experience and the diversities can bring my perspective and outside the box thinking into our city council and truly present a lot of things onto that table a lot of people here in the background is asking for. My name is Benjamin Yu. I'm a U.S. Army veteran. I'm our city traffic commissioner. I'm a small business owner. I want to serve my city because I love this community. And I think they need me with my diversity and experience can truly help bridge this one to deal with the change of demographic and with that vision and perspective, move our city of Lake Forest forward into the 2020. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, and while the city clerk passes them out, I'd like to first thank all the applicants for not only considering the opportunity, but being here tonight and speaking publicly. I know it's not easy to do, so I appreciate that. And I also want to say thank you for all the community service. We heard quite a bit about it tonight, and I really appreciate that. I know all of my colleagues do as well, because you are trying to make our community better, so we appreciate that.
And I too would like to thank everybody for your involvement in the city already, but more importantly, your application to be appointed to this very important role. So I want to thank you all. I think I talked to most of you, but thank you for your participation in this process and good luck.
So are we top three?
Top three, unless there's some objection. If you can select your top three, I will tally them and report out those results.
And one is number one, two is number
Yes.
two, and three is no in. Okay. So, it's going to take you a couple of minutes.
Jennifer and I will both count them
Yes.
to make sure that
I didn't know how much time you thought you needed for that.
just a couple of minutes. Mayor and members of the City Council, Michael James received 3 number 1 choices.
Okay.
Would you like me to report the rest of the count or stop at that point?
What's the preference, my colleagues? To hear the rest? I think we have an answer for tonight.
Okay, the ballots are public information if anyone is interested.
Great, thank you very much. So at this point, is there going to be,
You can make a formal motion to appoint Michael James. At this point, if he is confirmed, he will be sworn in and take office immediately.
okay?
I'll move to appoint
And I'll second
Michael
that.
James.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve Michael James to fill the vacant seat. All, please go ahead and vote.
Motion carries unanimously.
Very nice, congratulations, Mr. James. So,
I can swear him in at the podium, if that's okay.
Mr. James, please report to the podium.
Would it be okay if the sheriff comes up here? He came here to support me this evening.
And anybody else
He's
you
been a
would like?
friend of mine for 30 years, and
And anybody else you would like?
Can the sheriff swear him in? Yes. I'd make a motion that we allow the sheriff to swear Mike James in as
Seems
city
like
councilman.
I was sworn in by that.
Sure. I should have brought my glasses. The font is a size 6.
Get 'em real quick?
Yeah, that's right. I've been
Sheriff, do you need some of these?
You have some cheaters?
Yeah.
Sorry.
we're all getting old.
I'm guessing we're the same prescription.
We'll find out.
And we are. Mike, would you please raise your right hand? I,
I,
state your name,
Michael D. James,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will
that I will
bear true faith and allegiance
bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will
and that I will
well and faithfully discharge
well and faithfully discharge
the duties upon which I'm about to enter.
the duties upon which I'm about to enter.
Congratulations.
Huh? You want to take? Okay. So we're going to take a short break while we sort of get resituated here, and then we'll be back to hear about the new city council offices. Yeah, the Civic Center. Thank you.
You're welcome. Hope you don't mind. I've kind of changed the bottom. So-
I didn't mean to throw you guys for a loop. I meant to talk to you about that beforehand, so it's just more nothing that's gonna come from it, but I just wonder if I think I told you I'm like I'm helping my daughter through an American government class out of my college right now. And it's just like trying to explain to her this program starts.
Oh, and then we can have him.
Sometimes it's all about timing. Sometimes
I can grab him. I mean, he's up here. We can grab him right now.
Iffy about, but then it's just kind of hard to pull back.
She's gonna scan.
Just really wanted to understand how much, we're pouring into that. I know that's just a fraction of staff time, things like that. It's more of just to educate 5 people up here, 5 to 10 show up. Maybe if there's more online membership, then you start to see a little bit more understanding. this one done?
Yes.
I think I got somebody.
I was just realized like 10 minutes ago. I dropped my car off this morning to get it serviced, and I forgot to pick it up.
Oh, that's what happened.
Yes. So I'm like, my family teases me about being absent-minded, and I'm like, I'm not absent-minded. I just have a lot of stuff on my mind. So I'm gonna go home tonight. No car. Was that a code enforcement? Wonder what they didn't call. They didn't call me. They must have called Glenn.
If they didn't call anyway, that means it wasn't done. Then they would have problem.
to you, bro.
Are we starting right now?
Until you get back. No, go ahead. No. I'm still herding cats here. Go. Trust me. If I could get my council colleagues to return, we'll go ahead and finish up our meeting. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm back.
All right, we are back. Again, congratulations, Council Member James. That's a new title for you. We are on to item 15, the Civic Center Construction Quarterly Report.
Mayor and members of the council, we have a report from our Assistant City Manager, Keith Neves.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. The Civic Center project is rapidly nearing its completion, and the construction team is completing the remaining tasks to enable operations. The construction of the 4 buildings is currently on schedule for completion by the end of the month, October. Site work and information technology is scheduled to be completed in November. This anticipated schedule would allow the city to move operations to the new Civic Center site in late November. The total project budget is funded by public facilities fees and will be debt-free when finished. The construction team is expecting additional contingency budget for change orders that will be brought back at a future city council meeting. Now I will turn over the presentation and we'll show you a short PowerPoint presentation. John Erickson from Bernard's, our construction manager, and Greg Powers from Red Brick Consulting, our owner's representative, will come up and have a few things to say. So it looks like we need to turn on a PowerPoint presentation.
Or not.
Or not.
Do you need some time to get something situated?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Well, I can try and seek some public comment. Maybe
we can seek some public comment.
Yeah.
If we have any.
Is there anybody from the public that would like to address the city council on this matter, that being the Civic Center construction? Okay, that bought us a few seconds. How about Facebook Live?
I'm about to disconnect.
Okay.
So I'm Mr. Mayor, here's a question for staff. Are we going to be able to Facebook Live and do PowerPoints with the technology at the new Civic Center?
I hope so. If not, I probably won't be sitting here anymore. But
All right.
yes, we'll be able to do Facebook Live and PowerPoints and everything with the new technology. Oh, and we'll be televising on Cox Channel, what is it, 8 or 837? 837. So it'll be on Cox Channel 837 when we get into the new Civic Center.
So the meetings will be broadcast?
Broadcast.
Live?
Live.
Very nice. I think they say you need to go get a laptop?
Maybe we could just, hey, John, come up to the podium and we'll just walk through the PowerPoint. They have a copy of the PowerPoint. We'll get the PowerPoint working for the public, but just start walking through it with them.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. As Keith said, I'm John Erickson. It's probably the 5th time I think I've been up here for this. I just want to walk you through the presentation. We're kind of in the 9th inning right now in the project. So as Keith said, currently our buildings are just about done. We're wrapping them up in the month of October. By the end of this month, we're currently in the testing phase of the project where we're testing out all our fire alarm systems, our fire sprinklers, all our elevators, our wheelchair lifts and such. And then we're in the programming stage for all our technology. So all our internet's going on right now. Currently, we're in the council chambers testing out our speakers and programming and balancing their system. To kind of flip through the pages, just sort of a summary of where we've been on the project. Rough grading, we've completed that. That was back done in January of 2018. The parking garage for the site was done in April of 2018. The street extension and utilities, we've completed that in May of 2019. And as Keith said, we're expecting to finish the Civic Center by the end of November. Briefly on there, on the next slide is your overall schedule. You can kind of see we're in the building interior phase. This is really just sort of the finalizing of the project. On the interior, if you were to walk around the building right now, you'd kind of see buildings look really done to that point. We're kind of in our completion list, making sure we're just picking up all the loose ends and really just finishing out our lobbies right now. Going in the first building is our Council and Performing Arts Center. You can see here on the exterior of the building, the clock tower is all complete. It's been complete for a couple months now. The clock is actually working. That's got the correct time on there. It's tied into our building management system, which will adjust the clock as time changes as well. Flipping to the next slide, you can see the interior of the Performing Arts Center right now.
Wow.
All our seating's in, all our sound panels in. As I stated earlier, all our speakers are currently getting programmed right now. We have a very nice speaker system in there, the Myers system, which is a pretty incredible system that I'm really excited to see finally in use. Right now, we're just finishing up the staged wood flooring. Next week, we expect to start doing building out and assembling the dais so we can get that done. That's kind of our last activity in the council chambers. Next building on your slides is the administration building. You can see the outside, all our scaffolds down from the last slideshow that we've done. Exterior of the building is kind of complete. You could see right now in the slide, you could see there's a lot of dirt out front. Just kind of describe, when I get to the site work, I'll kind of describe why there's still dirt down in the middle. We build our way out towards the end on the way out. Flipping through the next page, you can see the entrance. This is the lobby ceiling.
Wow.
It's pretty impressive. It's all wood beams and TNG ceilings. We just installed the lights last weekend. They're really impressive. We have these Craftsman style lights all around the campus. I love them. I know your city's going to love them, so they're real exciting. Flipping through the next page, you can see we have our, this is your building counter. It's probably appears about 3 times the size of your current building counter. The reason right now it's in its current stage is the only thing left in there is our tile flooring. Just off to the left of the page is actually the tile crew, so they're working their way in. By the end of this Friday, you'll see that this lobby is all complete. Working to your next page, this is kind of what we call the bullpen. This is all your cubicles in the middle of upstairs. This, in the administration side of the building, you can see the quality of the cubicles and all the casework that you guys have selected. These are all installed throughout the administration building and much throughout the rest of the campus as well. the only furniture we still have left to deliver and install is really the community center, which is our 4th building. Next page is just sort of a sample picture of one of your conference rooms. They all kind of look like this. You can see that they're right about there. As I said, the only thing really it's missing is your TV, and that's kind of one of our last activity items because it's something that we get programmed into your system. So those will go up here in the next probably 2 weeks. Next building here is the clubhouse. This is your senior center. As you can see, the exterior of the building is all complete. Our site work's working its way out the middle, so that's why you still see some of our material. It's kind of the last phase of the site work is through in front of the clubhouse. Your next slide right here, this next room is just sort of a sample of one of your activity rooms. This is, I believe, your fitness center for the seniors. Just through those 2 doors in the back of the picture is actually your yoga deck that we just wrapped up this past week. Next photo is kind of a similar looking room, but this is your arts and crafts room for the senior center. This also ties into the same patio that your yoga deck does as well. So off to the left, outside there is your patios. And the next slide is that actual patio that those 2 rooms tie into. So on the back side of that is your yoga deck. There's a fence dividing the 2. We have like a trellis system provides shade for the yoga deck. And you can see that we're planting, we got all our trees planted. We expect to have the pavers in these 2 missing areas in the next week. So this patio will be about complete in about a week or so. The last building we have going is the community center. This is building 4 as far as we're concerned. The photo right here is sort of your big community space in the middle. This is really the most impressive part about this building. All the other photos I took of the interior just didn't do it justice. So we just literally wrapped up the ceiling panels today, which you can't really see in the picture, but it's at the very back side of this photo. We've already got our trees planted in here, and we're starting the pavers here in the next coming couple days to really finish out this area. So that brings us into the site work. As I was kind of mentioning before, the way we build the site work on a campus like this is we kind of hit the edges and build our way from the back out to the front. So where you see the previous photos of the admin building and the senior center where it's still dirt, it's because we're building our way out that way. If you were to go around the site right now, you'll see the perimeter of the project and the community center, all the flat work's already in, and it's working its way out. The photos that I have here are from the street right here. So we've, like I've described, that we've kind of hit the edges and work our way out. This is your site work in front of the administration building. What we have beyond the landscape is our pervious concrete. This is all under your parking stalls. And right here in the front is our your sign. So the Lake Forest monument sign. So in the next probably 2 weeks, you'll see that. It'll have the city of Lake Forest on there. It'll be clad with stone just to match the rest of the buildings. This final slide is the street work, site work in front of the senior center. As you can see, this area is in a similar condition where all the pervious concrete in our parking lots is poured, all the flat work's poured out, and all the trees are installed. And then the street work itself, all the planting itself is. So in the next 2-3 weeks, all the plants are going to start making their way from the back to the front on the outside coming in. So I don't know if you guys are visiting the site at all, but you'll see us working our way out the middle. So that's the last slide. I'll turn it over to Greg Powers to give a summary.
This is Greg Powers from Red Brick Consulting. He's our owner's representative. He'll just walk through some of the challenges we've had since the beginning and some of the challenges we're still going through right now.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and council members. Congratulations on being seated tonight. It's a great honor. So last time we were here in July, we believed that we were going to be landing right on time on the project, and we're very close. The buildings are going to be where we expected them to be. The interior furniture, the interior finishes are all where we expect them to be. But we have had we've had a few issues that are causing some challenges. Particularly, our biggest challenge has been our site work contractor. He originally made a commitment to meet a date, and then he didn't meet that first date, and now he's made a commitment to meet another date, and our confidence level is not as high as we would like on that. So that's why we've chosen the date for occupancy that we have chosen in our work process. We've had a couple challenges over the course of the project that we've always been able to overcome. So one of the things that we were able to do early on was we had approximately 5 weeks of rain. And when I was here in July, the rain had already gone and we were still on track. So we'd been able to recover all the rain impacts that we had. We also had about 4 or 5, maybe 6 weeks of structural steel. And we talked about that early on in the project, the risks we had with the structural steel. And we were able to work those out and keep on track with that, mostly without spending any money. We spent some money on the rain, but we didn't spend significant money at all on the structural steel issues. But we were able to keep track of those and move all those along to where we were able to restore what we anticipated as our construction completion schedule. So aside from those issues, recently we've had a problem with one of our operable partition contractor just declared bankruptcy about a week ago. So we're working an alternative on that, and there's been a lot of meetings on that. We think we have some good solutions on that. That will not impact us opening. Whether we have our partitions in place the way we want them or not, we're going to be fine with that. We also had our lighting, we had in our ballroom in our community center, our ballroom lights, they could not meet the requirements of the specification. So we've made a change there. They were pushing us out to almost February or March, the way they were talking with the lights. So that contractor's gone, and we've got what we think is going to solution. Again, it's going to meet our needs for operational functionality of the space when we need it. And then early on, we lost our chairs. So our chair manufacturer went bankrupt. That took almost a year, believe it or not, to get resolved. So it's amazing when you sit back and look at some of the complexities that we've had on the project. We're building a very complex project with a lot of moving parts, and if you get to walk in the buildings, you'll see they're all ready, other than being clean. They need to be cleaned, and we've got a little bit of tile here, a little bit of tile there. That's all up at all the tiles here now. We've a couple storefronts that need to go in, but all the storefronts here now. We have a couple pieces of laminate that are missing. It's almost here. We're missing one small piece of laminate, and then we have to build the dais for the council, and we're done. So just getting out of the site work is really our biggest concern, our biggest risk right now, because basically the site work contractor controls our destiny, and we've been working very closely with them. It's been some challenges, but we've been able to nudge them along to keep them productively working, and it's a day-by-day process to help them get to the place where we feel confident. We were hopefully originally to have the November 4th board meeting, council meeting in the new chambers, but the risk is too great, and because the fact that we have to move the entire city into the facility before we have that first council meeting, it's not worth trying to force everything to come into a situation where we don't have close enough to perfection that I'm happy. So as the team has worked really fabulously well together. We've had great results with Bernard's and their efforts. Of our 23 primary trade contractors, we've done very well with almost everybody. This contractor we're having a challenge with, he did our preliminary concrete on the slabs, and he did well. He ran into a problem this summer and towards the end, and it's just been a challenge. But overall, budget-wise, we basically had, in our budget, we had an allowance, and that allowance was to cover things that we knew and expected to have happen. We've consumed that allowance, and we're going to be maybe 1 or 2% over what our hard cost was. So of the 10% typical contingency that's allowed on a contract, we're going to be within 1 or 2% of that, of just consuming that. So again, I think we're very strong on budget, we're very strong on time, and with the impacts and challenges we've had, I think we've come pretty close. So that's kind of where we're at. So
Okay.
I'm for any questions.
Colleagues, any questions?
Yeah. So do you think that we could put a time frame on December's meeting?
Shall I leave it to you to answer that question?
Yeah, I'll answer that question. I'll take the heat for all this. Yes, we're looking at probably the first meeting in December, which is a December 6th?
4th or 6th?
Third? December 3rd meeting. What we might need to do, and we'll talk about this. No, Mayor, you're not going to write that down?
I was going to write down December 3rd, I heard.
First meeting in December is what we're pushing for. Right now, I think we can have everything, the technology, everything hooked up, everything tested.
Well, you know, what an
That's a
honor to serve
projection.
on a city council that is actually building our new civic center. I mean, it's kind of a once in a lifetime thing, and so I want to thank staff and I want to thank you, Greg. I think it was a great hire for us to get our own owner's rep, and so congratulations to you. And Bernard's done a wonderful job. In fact, all the contractors have done a great job, and so it's coming out fabulous, and I'm excited for the opening and what it gives back to the city. And it was the nicest thing about it. It didn't come out of our general funds. It came out of development fees, and so it was really an added gift to our city. So thank you for a job well done.
Thank you. We're not there yet.
I'm still thanking you.
Anything else?
I don't have a question for Mr. Powers, but my question is just more around programming. So what does this temporary setback by a few weeks, does that affect programming in any way? The partitions that aren't available right now, do we have reservations for those rooms? Like, what's the soonest we have, and would they require the partitions, things of that nature?
We have not started programming the room, so it's not going to affect any programming. We were always looking to see when we were going to be finished and moved in, and then we were going to open up the programming. Most likely January 1st is when Community Services was really going to go strong on starting to program all the facilities. Now, we have got a lot of phone calls and a lot of questions about, you know, how do I rent these rooms? And we've got people on list, but we're going to start probably around January 1st to do that. Now, with the partitions missing, it'll just be a bigger room. If they rent that big banquet room over there in the community center, we won't be able to partition it into 3 rooms until we get the partitions fixed.
But again, we're aggressively, you know, we're not letting any grass grow under that issue. So we're aggressively trying to solve it and make sure that we have them before the end of the year, so that we will not become a programming issue for the city.
Great, thank you.
And the other piece for occupancy, we're trying to make sure we get occupancy early enough so the city doesn't incur any constraints on its lease.
Sure. That was going to be my next question, but just before you address that, just so that I'm hearing it from staff and not from the consultant, I just want to let you know that I've had, I'd say probably weekly, but maybe every other week on occasion, conversations with our assistant city manager, Neves, regarding this project, because it is so significant in our city's history. And, you know, he's spoken incredibly highly of the work that you've done and said that you've been worth your weight in gold.
That's a lot of gold.
So, yeah, well, so, you know, he's just,
we're like lead.
You know, I know that we were kind of having some discussions about, you know, owner reps and things like that. And I know that, you know, occasionally some people might read through a report like this and look at delay or a cost overrun. I mean, I think that you all were being very aggressive in your timing. And that, you know, the delays are very, very minimal in the grand scheme of things. And again, as you mentioned, you know, typically we'd see a much higher contingency, so the extra costs are, you know, probably in the upper percentile of perfection, so to speak, or you know, good work, rather than, you know, being something that's a negative. So of course we all want to make sure that we can control those costs, and you know, the staff's been telling me that you've been just doing incredible work to try to make that happen. So, you know, I'm very confident that these were really beyond our control and that you've been working on the contractors pretty heavily. And I just want to let you know how much I appreciate that.
Thank you very much. I treat your money like it's mine, frankly.
And
you know, if we didn't have the weather, that would be a big piece of it. If we didn't have the chair manufacturer out, that would be a big piece of it. And if we didn't have a big significant change in security, then we would still be within our allowances.
Sure.
So,
and,
I mean, those 3 things are really, if you could sit back and look at what the issues are that have caused us to be in a place where we didn't come in under.
Sure.
Those are the 3 areas.
Yeah. And, you know, when you look at the number of contractors we have to deal with, you know, it's just, there's only so much you can do to control a business that's been around for maybe a few decades that, you know, because of issues unforeseen, they go out of business, or, you know, they go into receivership.
Well, we've had 2 of them.
Whatever it might be. Yeah.
We've had at least 2,
Yep.
maybe more. Yeah.
Yep.
So it's been interesting.
Okay. Well, thank you very much again for that. And then, so the next question was just, you know, our lease at this facility, and do we, you know, what's the, I'm hoping that the number is 0, but what's the possibility that, you know, we're not prepared by the end of the year, and, you know, what would be a contingency if something, you know, really challenging occurred?
We will be out by the end of the year. We're going to be out by the end of November. That's no problem. What I've done is I've worked with the owner, and he's allowed me to when I negotiated a lease earlier in the year, I said, hey, I could be out, you know, October 31st or December 31st, give me a 60-day. And he said, yes, he gave me a 60 days. Just tell me when you're going to get out. I've gone back and asked him, and if I'm out a couple days into December, he'll prorate it just for those couple days. He's not going to charge me that whole month's rent. So we've worked with him, and he's worked with us, and it's been a very good relationship between us and the owner here at this building.
Thanks. Solid negotiation there, and I'm glad to hear that we'll be out by the end of November. So, you know, there might be a few lingering things around here that, you know, it would preclude us from being out of this facility on November 30th. But, you know, if all the staff are out and we're just trying to clean up a few things like patch holes or whatever you got to do.
It would be the decommissioning,
Yeah.
and we've got an RFP, and it's all set for decommissioning, and they say 2 to 3 days on decommissioning this whole building,
Yeah.
which we've already walked through with the owners and know what we need to take out of here.
Great. Well, thank you very much again. I really appreciate it.
All right, colleagues, anything else?
Good job. Thank you so much.
Anything else from staff on the matter? No? Thank you very much. Appreciate
you, guys.
that. Appreciate the updates. And so December 3, did I? Just want to write that down.
That's the projected date.
However, we reserve the right to move the first meeting of December by 1 week, so.
We didn't hear that initially.
Oh, nicely done. Well played. All right, that completes our agenda. That brings us to the city manager's report.
I have nothing further this evening.
All right, that brings us to city council comments, and with the indulgence of my colleagues, I'm going to turn the floor over to Councilmember James.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Appreciate that. And to my council colleagues, thank you very much for the confidence. I look forward to serving with you. I want to personally thank Sheriff Barnes for being here tonight. He's been a very dear friend for very many years, and he came to support me this evening with his wife, Marilyn. I know they're gone now, but some ways that's interesting for me. I've been employed by the city. This will be my 4th time, so I don't know if that's good or bad. All depends how you look at it. So I started as a young deputy, and then in 1999 I was selected as the city's 2nd police chief, where I served proudly for 7 years. Still counted as one of the greatest jobs I ever had at the Orange County Sheriff's Department. The sheriff worked for me here. Your current lieutenant, Lieutenant Taylor, worked for me here. Mark Froome in the back of the room worked for me here. Sergeant Keller worked for me here. So I have a lot of ties to the city. I love it. Recently, my youngest son went on a ride-along with one of Lake Forest's finest, and it was a great experience. So I will keep my comments short tonight. I'm honored to be here. I'm thankful. But I have to do something that's more important than anything, because the sheriff will tell you that when you run for office, you know for sure if you married the right person. And my wife of 31 years, today is her birthday. And she spent the entire evening with me here. And last time I was here at one of Gail's planning commission meetings on Valentine's Day. So I'm batting 0 right now. But I love my wife. We've been married for 31 years. We celebrated a little bit earlier today. So honey, thank you. I love you and appreciate it.
Very nice. Councilmember Robinson.
Well, I just want to say congratulations to Councilman Mike James. Look forward to serving with you, and happy birthday to Mrs. James.
Councilmember Voits.
I too would like to echo happy birthday, Mrs. James, and congratulations, Councilman Michael James, and we're thrilled to have you. Thank you for your service to the community as a police officer and now as a elected or as an appointed city council member. So congratulations. I attended the Tri-City Mixers last week. It was at Whitetail here in Lake Forest, but Mission Viejo, Santa Margarita participated with us, and it was a great turnout. We got a vibrant business community that's helped and supported by Lake Forest Chamber of Commerce. And so I give a shout out to Lake Forest Chamber of Commerce for all they do for our businesses here and helping network with them. I'd like to say that this is the 3rd year anniversary for the death of one of our own. Jason C. Finley is a Navy special weapons officer, died 10/20/2016. He was 34 years old. His mother, Gloria, and his stepfather, Sean, still live in the city. And I think it would be only appropriate that we make a motion that we put up a banner in remembrance of
this wonderful Navy serviceman from Lake Forest, grew up in Old El Toro. So I'd like to make a motion for that, and then I'd like to make a motion that we close in memory of him. Nothing further.
Thank you very much. Mayor Pro Tem Matazzi.
I, excuse me, I'm fighting a cold. I attended a girls' empowerment conference in Tustin. It was the first inaugural conference, excuse me, encouraging young women about public service and all the opportunities that are available to serve your community and public policy. So it was really interesting to see young girls that are interested in pursuing that. And so I spoke a little bit about my experiences and hopefully was able to, you know, get these girls motivated. So that was really fun. And then I also wanted to congratulate Mr. excuse me, Mr. James on your appointment, and excited to serve with you. So thank you.
All right, thank you very much. I also attended the Tri-City Chamber, great event, great turnout, and so it was nice to see everyone there. And I also would like to echo the support for the chamber. They do a great job in helping our city and working great with the other cities and their chambers as well, so that's great to see. I attended a scout event yesterday. I spoke to about, I don't know, a couple dozen scouts last night at Abiding Savior, so it was fun to always talk to the young up-and-coming scouts. And attended the Boys and Girls Gala. It was interesting because they sort of were saying, geez, the gala keeps getting bigger and bigger every year. Where are we going to go next? I said, how about the new community center? So they may be doing business with us next year. And I had the privilege of going to OCFA's open house at Station 19 and spent quite a bit of time down there. It was great to see them and support them as always. And with that, I appreciate the opportunity to recognize, I want to clarify the name if I could, because I want to make sure. So, Jonathan, if you could clarify the name of the Jason Christopher, I thought I heard Finian, but I want to be, is it Finian? How do you pronounce that?
Finan, F-I-N-A-N. We've actually
N-A-N.
emailed chain with staff to reach out to the family.
Okay. Well, with that,
Mr. Mayor, before you adjourn,
yes,
sorry to break in.
please.
We just wanted to point out to members of the community that the PowerPoint we weren't able to get up will be on our website in the morning. So if people want to see the pictures, they'll be available.
Appreciate that. So we will adjourn tonight's meeting in the honor of Jason Christopher Finnan and recognition of his service to our country. We are adjourned. Thank you.